So your hips are tighter than a camel's arsehole in a sandstorm, and no, all the YouTube and Instagram stuff you're doing isn't helping. Things like this are just causing you to lock up and stay tight. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 exercises that are going to unlock real flexibility, give you strength to range of motion, and stop you getting out of bed every morning like a 90-year-old nana. Let's start at the front of the hips, okay? So things like this, coming into big lunges. You might be able to get super deep like this, feel like a hero. You might be able to come into a cat stretch with your butt against the wall, whatever. You're still pulling up tight because you're not building a strength through your range of motion. So your body's protecting you. You feel good after it. You might feel good 15, 20 minutes. Research might show even 24 hours, but body's resetting you back and putting you back in a range where your body knows you can move through. We need to teach our body that we can come into these extended ranges. And particularly, we need to make sure that we're affecting muscles where they meet the bones, at the tendons too. So instead of coming into these big things and feeling like you're absolutely killing it, let's make sure we're targeting the right area. So for a lunge, first thing is to tuck your hip under. So when we tuck our hip under, and if you lean back a little bit, you might start to feel this up high. We want to target tension around here. That's the first step. Make sure you're targeting the right area. I always say stretching is a skill. We want to make sure we have the right spot first. Then what we're going to do is we're going to lean back a little bit and we're going to push into our back foot. Now you start feeling tension here. You might even feel the whole area start to blow up a little bit. We want to make sure we can add this tension in so our body learns that we can go here and we stay strong here as well. I'm going to lean back a little bit more, pushing all my foot in here. I would hold this for 3 10-second reps. If you don't get that one so well, an alternative is as we come into this position, hip tucked under, I'm going to drag my knee and my front foot towards each other. So it's like I'm trying to drag my knee on the ground, trying to bring this foot back, and I'm going to do it as hard as I can and hold tension there for 10 seconds. 3 10 seconds, have a rest between them, maybe even hold just a gentle stretch first, but want to make sure we're getting as much tension in there as we can. The 99 is something that is popular on the Instagrams where we're coming into this sort of stretch and holding, which is fine for temporary relief. 2 things that we want to do, particularly if we're addressing Stretch Yourself Strong, is getting strength through our range of motion, teaching our body we can own it, and then teaching our brain that we can use it. There's a bunch of strategies we're going to look at there, but I'm just going to quickly look at 2 here. So when we're in this stretch, I feel it's better to bring this knee up further. So I call this a 90-90-ish. Rather than just holding the stretch here, like we did in the first exercise, we're going to find a way to create tension. We will create that tension here by pushing this knee down hard in the ground. Again, 3 10-second reps. We can also find even more tension, hands off the ground, or we can hold a weight. Now, where you go in the stretch isn't important. It's how it feels. So for instance, for me, I can comfortably come here, but I can make my body feel to stretch more when I find it with movement of my pelvis. And the movement of my pelvis is just going to be slightly rolling off and lifting the chest. That's one thing to think about. Again, adding tension. One of the ways we can start to find some ownership is to move through ranges. Now, a lot of people look at, hip external, internal rotation. Just moving through some of these areas can be super beneficial. And we're just going to do some switches here. You might need to start with some support, but ideally no support. And we're going to come through, in and out, and look to drop down, feeling that tension catch around the hips as we go, and loading chest down. Notice I'm keeping my chest up here. If I drop my chest, I lose the stretch. Okay, and going for around 6 or 7 reps side to side for that is a good way to start to get some ownership in this position, but more importantly, later on, transferring that into real life positions is probably more important, but this is a good place to start. All right, the final boss is the deep squat. Now, the deep squat is something that expresses what you already have. You're not necessarily going to gain a lot of range of motion by coming into this if you can't get into the full thing. This is more an expression, like a lot of what we see in mobility and flexibility online, an expression of what you already had. But keep in mind, Stretch Yourself Strong is a 4-phase system. So at some point, we are expressing what we have and allowing our brain to use it. This is one of those times. Having said that, if you are weak in these ranges, you will gain some more strength as you will start to fatigue here as well. So what we're going to do is obviously we're dropping our hips right down, butt to the heels if we can, chest up and pushing elbows out into the knees. Now, most people can't get here. Some people say there's no real benefit, but the fact that there's 90-year-olds in China pooping like this, and if you can't even get there, then there's something wrong. So if you can't get here, you need to go back and figure out which muscle groups aren't allowing you this, and then applying these other principles to it. So if it's your adductors, applying those principles of 3 10-second reps of tension, letting your body own it, hips, hip flexors, whatever. But we need to find a way to get here, and then just coming into these positions, holding, moving around, letting our body own it, and letting our body have some endurance in these positions as well. If you do these things daily, I guarantee your hips are going to feel better. You're going to have long-lasting flexibility, strength and range of motion, and you'll be able to transfer it into other things, which is even more important. So what I've shown you here are really phase 1 and 2 strategies of the 4-phase stretch yourself strong system. We want to know a little bit more about it, click some of the links here somewhere. Any questions, please ask. See you in the next one.